Have you ever reached the end of your day and felt like you were on autopilot? Like invisible threads pulled you through familiar motions, maybe scrolling through your phone when you meant to read, or hitting snooze one too many times? What if I told you those invisible threads are habits and they make up nearly half of our daily actions? Welcome to The Inspired Lens, where we explore the stories and strategies that help us see our potential more clearly. I'm your host, Silas Lounge. Today, we're diving deep into something fundamental to shaping our lives: the power of habits. We hear so much about them: good habits, bad habits. The best-selling book, Atomic Habits, is constantly trending. Countless courses promise transformation. But why? Why are these seemingly small routines so incredibly powerful? And more importantly, how can we become the architects of our own habits, consciously designing routines that build us up and dismantling the ones that hold us back? We won't be talking about massive, overnight transformations today. Instead, we'll focus on the surprising power of small, consistent changes, the tiny bricks that build magnificent castles over time. Stick around as we explore practical strategies, share some relatable stories, and uncover how to build a better version of you, one tiny habit at a time. So, what's the big deal with habits? Why do they have such a grip on us? It boils down to efficiency. Our brains are incredibly smart, and they love shortcuts. When we repeat an action enough times in a certain context, like brewing coffee right after waking up or checking emails when we sit at our desk, our brain automates the process. It creates a neurological loop. A cue triggers a routine, which leads to a reward. Think of it like carving a path in a forest. The first time, it's tough work. But each time you walk that same path, it gets clearer, easier, faster. Eventually, it becomes the default route. That's habit formation in action. This automation frees up mental energy for more complex tasks, which is fantastic. But it works just as effectively for habits that don't serve us: reaching for sugary snacks when stressed, procrastinating on important projects, or negative self-talk. The real magic, or sometimes the curse, lies in the compounding effect. James Clear, in Atomic Habits, talks about how improving by just 1% each day leads to being nearly 38 times better by the end of the year. Conversely, declining by 1% daily brings you close to zero. These tiny, seemingly insignificant daily choices, the extra 10 minutes of reading versus scrolling, the walk around the block versus staying on the couch, choosing water over soda, they compound over weeks, months, and years, shaping our health, our careers, our relationships, and ultimately, our identity. They are the subtle architects of our destiny. It's easy to dismiss small habits. We want dramatic results now, but lasting change rarely works that way. It's the consistent small deposits into our better self bank account that yield the greatest long-term returns. Let me tell you about someone we'll call Maya. Maya felt stuck. Mornings were a frantic rush, fueled by coffee and regret after hitting snooze multiple times. Her evenings often disappeared into a vortex of social media scrolling, leaving her feeling drained and unproductive. She wanted to read more, exercise consistently, and maybe start that side project she'd been dreaming about, but she felt overwhelmed, like she needed a massive overhaul she just didn't have the energy for. She'd tried setting ambitious goals before: run 5K every day, read a book a week, but they always fizzled out after a few days, leaving her feeling even more discouraged. Then, she heard about the idea of atomic habits, focusing on one ridiculously small change. She decided to tackle the morning chaos. Her big goal was to wake up earlier and have a calm morning routine. But her atomic habit? Simply putting her phone charger across the room at night instead of on her nightstand. That was it. Such a tiny change, it almost felt silly. But here's what happened. When her alarm went off, she had to physically get out of bed to turn it off. Since she was already up, hitting snooze felt less appealing. She was standing. The friction of getting back into bed was now slightly higher than staying out of it. Because she wasn't immediately grabbing her phone from the nightstand, she didn't fall into the trap of scrolling in bed. She had a few extra minutes. At first, she just used them to stretch or drink a glass of water. Then, she started using those 5 or 10 minutes to read just a couple of pages of a book. That small win, starting the day intentionally, even for a few minutes, had a ripple effect. She felt slightly less rushed, slightly more accomplished. That positive feeling made her more likely to make a healthier breakfast choice. Because she wasn't starting the day feeling behind, she felt a bit more capable of tackling her work tasks. Over weeks and months, that single tiny habit of charging her phone across the room cascaded. The few pages of reading turned into a consistent reading habit. The calmer mornings led to trying a short workout routine. She still had days where things didn't go perfectly, but the baseline had shifted. Maya didn't overhaul her life overnight. She simply changed the starting point, the initial cue for her morning, and the rest slowly began to realign. It wasn't about willpower, it was about designing her environment for success, starting small. Maya's story beautifully illustrates how small changes can work. But how can we systematically build habits like hers? Experts, particularly James Clear, break it down into 4 simple laws or pillars. Let's think of them as the blueprints for constructing positive routines. Pillar 1. Make it obvious. You can't act on a cue you don't notice. We need to make the triggers for our desired habits unmissable. Practical tip. Want to drink more water? Keep a water bottle visible on your desk at all times. Want to practice guitar? Leave it out on a stand in your living room, not packed away in its case. Want to go for a run in the morning? Lay out your running clothes the night before? Think, how can I design my environment so the cue for my good habit is right in front of me when I need it? Use implementation intentions. I will behavior at time in location. For example, I will meditate for 5 minutes at 7 a.m. in my living room. Be specific. Pillar 2. Make it attractive. Habits are often driven by the anticipation of a reward. If a habit feels like a chore, we're less likely to stick with it. We need to link it to something we enjoy. Practical tip. Use temptation bundling. Pair an action you want to do with an action you need to do. Only listen to your favorite podcast while exercising. Only watch your favorite Netflix show while folding laundry. Think, how can I make this habit more appealing? Join a group where the desired behavior is the norm, like a running club or a book group. Surround yourself with people who embody the habits you want to cultivate. Their energy and example can be incredibly motivating. Pillar 3. Make it easy. This is crucial. Reduce the friction associated with the habit. Human nature follows the path of least resistance. Make your good habits the easiest option. Practical tip. Simplify the habit. Aim ridiculously small, especially at the start. Instead of read for an hour, start with read 1 page. Instead of run 5 miles, start with put on running shoes and step outside. This is the famous 2-minute rule. Master the art of showing up. Think, how can I reduce the steps between me and my desired habit? Prepare things in advance, like Maya laying out clothes. Automate where possible, like setting up automatic bill payments for financial habits. Remove obstacles. Pillar 4. Make it satisfying. Our brains prioritize immediate rewards. Good habits often have delayed benefits, like getting fit or learning a skill, while bad habits offer instant gratification. We need to find ways to make good habits immediately satisfying. Practical tip. Use a habit tracker. Visually seeing your progress, checking off a box each day you complete your habit, provides a small, immediate hit of satisfaction. Don't break the chain. Think, how can I give myself an immediate sense of accomplishment after performing the habit? It could be as simple as verbal praise, yes, done, crossing it off a list, or putting $1 in a jar towards a future reward after completing the habit, make the completion feel good. So, to recap, make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. These 4 pillars are your toolkit for building routines that stick. Building good habits is one side of the coin. The other, equally important side, is breaking the habits that drain our energy, sabotage our goals, or simply don't align with the person we want to be. Luckily, we can simply invert the 4 pillars we just discussed. Inversion 1, make it invisible. If the cue triggers the habit, remove the cue. Out of sight, out of mind. Practical tip. Want to stop snacking on junk food? Don't keep it in the house. Want to reduce mindless phone scrolling? Leave your phone in another room during focused work or family time. Unsubscribe from tempting email newsletters. Delete apps that trigger unwanted behavior. Think, how can I redesign my environment to remove the triggers for my bad habits? Inversion 2. Make it unattractive. Reframe the perceived benefits of the bad habit. Highlight the downsides. Practical tip. Want to quit smoking? Calculate how much money you spend on it each month or year. Focus on the negative health consequences, the smell, the social inconvenience. Associate it with negative feelings. Think, what are the real costs of this habit? Why do I truly want to stop? Remind yourself of these reasons frequently. Inversion 3. Make it difficult. Increase the friction. Make the bad habit harder to do than not doing it. Practical tip. Want to watch less TV? Unplug it after each use and put the remote in another room. Want to stop impulse online shopping? Remove saved credit card information from websites. Add steps between you and the unwanted behavior. Think, how can I add barriers or steps to make indulging in this bad habit less convenient? Inversion 4. Make it unsatisfying. Associate the bad habit with immediate negative consequences, even small ones. Practical tip. Get an accountability partner. Ask a friend to check in on you and agree on a small penalty, like doing 10 push-ups or donating $1 to a cause you don't support, if you slip up. The potential for immediate social cost or mild discomfort can deter the behavior. Think, how can I make the immediate outcome of this habit less pleasant? Track the negative effects. How you feel after eating junk food or staying up too late. Breaking bad habits is often harder because they are deeply ingrained and provide some form of immediate reward, even if it's detrimental long-term. Be patient and compassionate with yourself. Slipping up doesn't mean failure, it's part of the process. The key is to get back on track as quickly as possible. Don't fall into the all-or-nothing trap. If you miss one day, just make sure you don't miss 2. We've covered the mechanics, how to build good habits and break bad ones using these practical frameworks. But there's a deeper layer here, something essential for making these changes truly last, focusing on identity and embracing consistency over intensity. Often, we focus too much on the outcome, losing X pounds, writing a novel, rather than the process and the person we are becoming. True behavior change is identity change. It's not just about doing something different. It's about being someone different. Instead of saying, I want to run a marathon, outcome focus, shift to, I am a runner, identity focus. Each time you lace up your shoes, even for a short run, you are casting a vote for that identity. Each time you choose a healthy meal, you cast a vote for being a healthy person. Each page you write casts a vote for being a writer. These small wins, these consistent actions, reinforce your desired identity. The goal isn't perfection. It's simply to cast more votes for the person you want to become than for the person you want to leave behind. This perspective shift helps immensely when motivation wanes, as it inevitably does. You don't need superhuman willpower every day if your actions are aligned with your identity. You simply do what a person like you does. And remember Maya? Her tiny habit didn't just change her morning routine. It slowly started shifting her identity from someone who felt chaotic and overwhelmed to someone who was intentional and capable. So, be patient. Trust the process. Celebrate the small victories. Understand that building the life you want isn't a sprint. It's a marathon built of countless tiny, consistent steps. Focus on getting 1% better each day. Embrace the journey of becoming the architect of you. We've journeyed through the fascinating world of habits today, understanding their power, learning how to build better ones brick by brick, and how to carefully dismantle those that no longer serve us. The key takeaways? First, start small, ridiculously small. The 2-minute rule is your friend. Master the art of showing up. Second, focus on consistency, not intensity. Small improvements compound over time. Aim for progress, not perfection. Third, design your environment for success. Make good habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Make bad habits invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. And finally, remember that every action is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Focus on building the identity you desire, one small habit at a time. You hold the blueprint, you have the tools, you are the architect of your life. Thank you for tuning in to The Inspired Lens. I hope this conversation sparked some ideas and empowers you to take that first small step. What's one tiny habit you could implement or break starting today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading them. If you found value in this episode, please show your support by hitting that like button, subscribe to The Inspired Lens so you don't miss future episodes, and click the notification bell to stay updated. Your support helps us reach more people searching for inspiration. Until next time, keep looking through that inspired lens. See the potential within you and take that small, consistent action. You've got this.